So our final guest, she has been on the show before, but it's been about 3 years. And we this show is over 4 years old. So we have people who've been on and then we haven't heard from them in a while, and then we're having them come back to talk about what they're doing. Now, Aretha, you need to turn your camera because you're sideways. We're looking at you like this. Okay. Great. So, no, go back. This is correct right here where
You're
you have it.
looking good right there.
You're looking good right there. And if
And
you can
just go ahead and
unmute.
unmute.
Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, and welcome back to Black Authors Matter TV.
I'm glad to be here. It's great to be back.
Well,
Hi.
great to have you. And I apologize. I can't stay on much longer. Today is my daughter's birthday, and she's on the way home from work. So I got her a little cake, and I want to make sure that I get her a cake before she has to go to sleep.
Okay, well, happy birthday to your daughter.
Thank you. It was great seeing you. But yeah, I wish I could stay on longer, but I do want to make sure that I celebrate her birthday before she goes to sleep because she works late.
And how old is she today? If it's
She's
okay to say.
20. Oh, of
20.
course, she's 25 today.
Oh, wow. You don't look like you have a 25-year-old.
Oh, thank
Yes,
you.
she's a big girl. Her name is Beautiful.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I remember that. I remember
Yeah,
that from the
yeah,
time.
yeah. I don't know any other Beautifuls, but that's
Yeah,
a
that's
great name.
a very creative name.
It is.
Yes,
It is.
yes, it is. I have to give the credit to her dad.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah. And I'm very happy she grew into the name. She's a very beautiful young lady.
Oh,
she
nice. That's
is.
sweet.
All right.
Okay, well, Rhonda, I will see you next Tuesday on the show,
Yes,
and have a great evening. Tell Beautiful happy birthday.
I sure will. Thank you. You guys have a great night. Bye-bye.
Thank you
Okay,
so much. Bye.
bye bye. So, Aretha, you've been very busy. And first, I want to talk about your book, your latest
Oh,
book. Do you have a copy of it with you?
I actually do.
Yeah,
One here
I
in the
know
book.
your book cover is amazing for this book.
Oh, thank you.
Uh,
Yeah. A gentleman named Tyrese Burnett. Actually, can you give me 1 second to get it?
sure, sure.
Oh,
And in the meantime, Aretha, she's an author, but she's also an actress, and she's on a regular TV series that we're going to talk about after we talk about her book. And her show is is one of Tyler Perry's shows that he does, and she's a regular. She has a regular role on that particular show. So I want to let her tell you about it. And
and here we are.
but
Yes, I'm
her
the
book
daughter between them.
Daughter Between Us, between them.
Between them. Uh-huh.
And I thought that cover, it was very eye catching.
Thank you. Tyrese Burnett, he's a graphic artist and an actor. He has done most of my book, a lot of my book covers, but he did this book cover and he's really good. I just give him the concept and he goes with it and always comes up with something great.
Now, is that a stock photo, or did he take a picture of someone?
I told him it's a stock photo. I
Okay.
told him what the story was, and the little girl, when she goes missing, she's wearing one of her princess gowns. She's very into the princess theme, and it's winter and it's snowing. So
Okay.
he gave me some choices, and I picked this one,
Can
and
you
then he added the snow.
can
You
you
know,
put it closer to the screen
sure, he added
so that
in
people
this
can
one.
really see it?
Yeah, and he added the snow. This is a
Okay.
fruit copy, so it has a
Right,
lot
right.
of pictures.
I get when I get my books, the proofs, they have that line through. But
Yeah,
I just thought that was an amazing cover.
thank you. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of compliments on this cover.
It says a lot. So what's the storyline for the book? What's the
Well,
plot?
it's about the tagline goes two mothers, one missing daughter, one life-changing secret. So it's about two women 10 years apart and thousands of miles away from each other. It starts out with the Now, which is Leslie. She's a Black woman. She's a reporter, and she's been wanting to become an editor at her newspaper. And it's been a long time dream of hers. Then you have Barbara in the past, who is a nurse and has a daughter, and her daughter, in the opening of her chapter, is told an alternating point of views from both women's point of views. It goes from one time period to the other.
Okay.
There is a connection between these women, and that's the big mystery. How are these women connected? But they both are mothers, they both have children, daughters. And the woman in the past, Barbara, her daughter comes up missing. But Barbara is not as innocent as she leads the reporters and police and everyone to believe. And I'm not going to say too much more,
Right. You
but
don't want to
it
give too
has
early.
it has a lot about mothers and daughters and the love of a mother for a daughter, and both of these women at the same time, at different times, going through a very horrendous situation. And then as the book evolves, we see the connection. That's the mystery.
Okay. Now, which book number is this for you?
This is 15.
Oh boy, okay. Yeah, I have 15 books too. So that's the number I'm on,
Oh,
15.
wow.
Mhm.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and congratulations to you because I didn't know you had that many books. I
Yeah,
knew.
the first one was my debut was in 2008. But yeah, I've been
Okay.
kind of doing averaging maybe a book a year, seems like, since then.
Okay, that's about the time my first one came out. The end, well, it was December 2007, so it was
Okay.
around the same time. So,
Yeah.
and some years I might do two books, and then some years I don't do any. But I guess it's an average of one
Yes.
overall. And six of my books are children's books. So
Oh, wow. I didn't know
yeah,
that. That's
yeah,
nice.
I've gone. I'm all over the place with my stuff. I have two
Wow.
novels.
So how do you balance it? I mean, do you find it challenging at all to go from writing children's books to adult?
No,
How do you, it's easy for you to go from one
no.
to,
Well, here's the thing. I stay in where my passion is. So it's not difficult because I'm always dealing with topics that I'm passionate about. So my children's books are all business related. Like
oh,
I
okay.
have a series of 5 books. So 5 of the books are in a series called Kids Biz. It teaches children how to be entrepreneurs. And there are
No.
3 main characters in the book. And then
Oh,
my 6th book is actually biographies of Black women in business who built their businesses from the ground up. And it's called Boss Women.
nice.
So I really, um, entrepreneurship is in my blood. I've been an entrepreneur my whole adult life. And so most of my books have some element of that. I have 2 books on economics. I have one. So I stay in where my passion is.
Nice.
I have the book on debt free college. It's about money, going to college debt free with scholarships. And I do a new one of that every year. So every January, there's a revised edition. So that book is always current. And so I just stay in my passions. I don't write about anything that I'm not passionate about. And so,
That's the way to go. I'm staying here, same.
yeah, because I don't think I can't bring forth words when there's no passion, if you
Exactly.
understand what I mean.
Oh, exactly.
Like I could sit at a computer. If there's no passion, the words
Um,
don't flow.
it has to be something that you have a lot of passion about and that drives you, or no, you won't be able to write about it.
Yes. Now, some people can just rattle off stuff. I mean, they can really, and I admire people who, especially like people who write romances and they'll be doing 4 books
Mhm.
a year. And I don't know how they do that because I couldn't come up with that many stories. But that takes a whole nother skill set.
Yeah,
So now are all of your books novels? Oh, they're all fiction.
they're all novels. They're all
Okay.
fiction. Yeah, they're all fiction. Yes.
Now the one that sticks in my mind, I don't know which number book this is. It has something to do with the airline.
The airline.
It was a flight attendant or something. Then you have a book about a flight attendant that had on the cover had like luggage or something. I'm
Oh,
not.
no, I think you might be thinking about Renee's Return. That's the one book that there's luggage in front. That's a part of a four-book series, the Cass and Nick series. And
Okay.
that was like a romance slash suspense series
Okay.
about the first book was Married in the Nick of Nine, where she wants to get married in 9 months. And she meets this guy and they end up together. And then all the rest of the books are about their lives together, them trying to have a baby. He brings two kids into the marriage and they're having problems with the girl, the teenage daughter. And that last book is when she comes back into their lives, Renee's Return. And I got that series established me officially as a published author because I got a book deal for that. It wasn't a huge book deal, but it was a book deal just the same.
Mm-hmm.
And those books have since reverted back to me. But yeah, that's my Cats and Nick series.
Okay. Okay. Now, did you become an actress first or an author first?
What comes from the egg or the chicken?
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's a good question. And it's a tricky answer to that because I guess the real answer is I had aspired to be a journalist before any of it, and that's when I was going to USC. When I was in high school, I had friends that were on the drama in the drama department, and I was on the speech team, and I would do speeches, original oratory, and dramatic interpretation and whatnot. And I kind of looked at my friends that were in drama, and I kind of thought about it, but I just felt like it wasn't practical enough. I just saw myself waiting on tables because I know how difficult an industry it is to break into. So I kind of veered away from that, and I focused on wanting to be a journalist. But when I got out of college, there was a really bad recession. And so what you normally do, you go to a small market, get your feet wet, and work your way up to the bigger markets like New York and LA. But no one was leaving those small jobs because of recession. So I
Okay.
had to get work, and I got work in corporate America, doing office work and whatnot. And I remember going to see this show, I'm aging myself because I went to see dating myself, the Jeffersons, they were filming. And one of the producers saw me and said, "Oh, you make a great model." So I started kind of dabbling in modeling. And then from there, because I didn't get the job in journalism, I started taking acting classes. So I'm not writing at all now. I haven't even started writing yet. But in the back of my head, I have this book that I want to write about a young girl. This was the idea I had, loosely based on my childhood, that had a really dysfunctional, harrowing childhood who becomes victorious in the end. And that book was in the back of my head. But in the meantime, I'm acting and I'm doing roles over here and getting under five roles of soaps. But also at this time, because of the really bad childhood I came from, I started acting out that childhood. And I started, being in places I shouldn't, dealing with people I shouldn't deal with. And I had to step away from acting to get my life together, to get spiritually back on track. And that's when I got into corporate America full time and started working. And I was working still, and I left acting altogether. And then in 1999, right after I met my husband, made my foray into writing. And that's when I wrote that first book. It wasn't until 16 years later that I went back to acting. I worked in corporate America. I wrote my books and I also wrote plays and produced plays all that time. And in 2016, I talked to my husband and I said, "Would you mind if I can make it, I can make the math make sense? I'd like to go back into acting." And so I did. I went back into acting full time and was still writing full time. So the writing came first, came the acting and then the writing and then back to
And
the
then back
acting.
to the
So,
acting.
yeah, it
Okay.
was like,
Yeah, a lot of people who are actors, they're not able to do it full time. So they
it's
do something else. Not everybody becomes a quote star, but you are in a regular series by Tyler Perry called Assisted Living. And
yes.
you've been in it, I think, from the beginning. Is that correct?
I came in during season two.
Season two. Okay.
And Tyler directed and wrote season one. When I came in on season two, he had turned it over to other writers and directors. I met him a few times, and he's a wonderful, gracious, just generous wonderful man, just so gracious, so to be a billionaire, just so down to earth.
Hmm. Yeah, he has an amazing story, the trajectory that he went on,
Totally.
going living in his car to becoming a billionaire and a black man. This is just, an amazing story. His
And you
personal.
know, Gwen, when I saw him for the first time, when I got hired on the show, I came in as recurring. I wasn't a series regular yet. I became a series regular in season 4. But when I came on, we were in deep into the pandemic, and we were quarantined on the camp on the at the studio ground. We lived there. Everybody had to come. They tested us. He had the a whole process, a whole regimen in place, better than even the country. I mean, they could have used his idea and how we handle COVID because no one got COVID. He had you tested before you came out there. He had us on a private plane. We got there. We were tested again. We tested multiple times a week. We had no incidents of COVID while we were there filming. People were in hazmat. I mean, he was really careful about that.
Okay.
But I got to meet him, and I met him my second year there, and I was outside. I was walking, and my co-star Courtney Nicole, who plays Lee on the show, she was approaching, and I saw this person drive by, and I said, "Was that Tyler?" And it was him. And I said to myself, if he continues to walk on, I'm not going to bother him. But he turned and started walking toward me, and we hugged, and I just broke down, Gwen, and I started crying. And I started crying because I knew his story and I related to it. He grew, like myself, he had a stepfather that abused him. And, he had a really difficult childhood, and I related to that. I felt this kinship with him. And I was so grateful that he never gave up and I told him, I said, if you had given up, I would not have my dream. My dream would, and so many countless other people's dreams would not have been realized because he stayed the course. That little boy never gave up. And I was so overwhelmed that I just broke down and he hugged me. He was so sweet.
Yeah, I watched the documentary that was
Yeah.
I forgot what it was on, but Netflix or Prime or one of the streaming channels.
Amazon. Yeah. Yeah. Maxine's boy.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Maxine's baby. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So it was really just incredible that he persevered after the treatment that he got, and maybe it could be um, as a result of the treatment he got. Sometimes people are motivated by negative things.
Well, it fueled him. It fueled him. And
Yeah.
he had such a fertile imagination. All of these stories and movies and things that we're seeing now are things that he thought of when he was that little boy hiding under the house. These are stories that he imagined so many years ago that are coming to fruition, which is miraculous. I'm really looking forward to 6668, the military movie, by the way,
Yes,
that's
I'm planning to
coming
watch
out
that.
in
I think it was
December,
at December 6th,
December 20th, yeah,
20th.
on
Okay.
Netflix. Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I know it was in Netflix, and I've read one of there are 3 books that have been written on that topic. I read one of the Sisters in Arms is the one I read by Kaya Arthur.
Mhm.
But the other 2 I have the books, but I haven't read them yet. So and I may try to read them before uh the movie because when I see a movie before I read a book, it ruins the book for me. I can do the opposite. I can
Yeah,
because the movie is more like almost like the cliff notes of a book.
yeah,
It
because
makes
the book is
yeah,
very detailed. Yeah.
right. And so, but the movie ruins all the spoilers are in the movie. So that's why I have to read the book
Yeah.
before I watch a movie if I'm going to read the book. Sometimes I don't read the book. I just see the movie and just move on from there. So the role that you have in assisted living, tell us about your character.
Her name is Anastasia Devereaux, and she's a 70s starlet. She was huge in the 70s. And her career kind of, as you get older, it's more difficult to land roles. And someone would call her a has been. She would beg to differ. So she's estranged from her sister. She has a twin sister who she's estranged from, and her parents have since died, and a lot of her friends have too. And so she just didn't want to be alone, and she shows up at Pleasant Days and becomes a resident there. And I remember my debut performance, both Damian Lee, who plays Judge Junie, and J. Anthony Brown, who plays Vinny, were after me. They were both vying for my attention. And I was playing them both. That was a real fun episode to do. But she's venturing back into acting. She's acting now, but she's struggling with getting old. She's trying to age gracefully, and it's not that easy, but she's very multifaceted in that. Yeah, she's had a very colorful love life. She's had eight husbands, eight husbands.
Oh, wow.
One daughter. She's divorced, but she's very conscious about community and about young people and about being a good example. And as she tells Taylor Buck, who plays Sandra on the show, yeah, she's had a colorful love life, but she calls the shots. It's what she wants to do. There are a lot of double entendres, and she's kind of like the sexy one, there. But she's not one note. She's a multifaceted character who is very aware and very confident and very caring and very loving and has a lot of wisdom to give. And I really appreciate Tyler for creating this character because I absolutely love playing her. Do we have anything in common? Well, yeah, we're both actresses. I don't have the colorful love life she has. I've been married for 25 years to the same gentleman. We just celebrated 25 years, September
Okay.
18th.
Congratulations.
But thank you. But yeah, that and I'm caring and loving like she is. Oh, now one thing that she has that I don't have. She is a fashionista. They, oh my gosh, they dress her, and I have to give Rihanna our wardrobe person, our top wardrobe person on the show. Rihanna just and her team, they just dress Anastasia to the nine. I mean, she is killing it in the wardrobe department. And
Oh,
I just envy her because I'm going to stand up and show you what I have on. This is pretty much the extent of my wardrobe, what I kind of do around. I don't know if you can see me,
yeah.
but cut off,
I can see it. A
that's
top
pretty
and
much,
pants.
I'm pretty
It's
much,
like me.
if
I
you
wear
see,
leggings most days. I wear a top and I have leggings on. I have this top and leggings. That's my standard uniform.
yeah,
It's a
you
casual, comfortable top
that
and
time. If
leggings
you
because I
you
want to
catch
be
me around
comfortable.
the neighborhood, that's me around the neighborhood. Jeans, sweats. But her wardrobe is to die for. She
Oh,
is
well, that's
quite
good. You get to
magnificent.
play dress up in
I
your
love
role.
it. I love dressing up. Oh my gosh, I love it. Mhm.
So how did you we don't have that much time left, but how did you have to compete for that role? Like
I
was
did.
it a very
I did.
competitive part that you got?
I did. I had to audition. I did a self tape when my agent sent over the audition, and I read the character, and I was like, "There's no way I'm going to get this." I had no belief that I would get that. I mean, I thought of Felicia Rashad, someone like that, getting part
Okay.
cast, because she's a bit older than the character's a bit older than me, and so. But I did it. I gave 100% to the audition and forgot about it. And I think about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, my agent called me. She says, "Oh, they're going to be making an offer." And I was like, "An offer for what?" Because I had totally divorced myself from the process. And she said, "Oh, they want you for Anastasia Devereaux." And I just screamed. I screamed. And I was just saying, "That's God. It's God. It's God. God, God, God."
Yeah.
And I give God all the credit for landing that part. It is truly a dream come true. And I have to give God all the glory for that.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing. Even as we get older and we pursue our dreams, there's still excitement there. And
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, that's part of living and living a life of fullness, and success. And
And I
still,
had been gone from the business for 23 years. I had been gone. And I came back
okay.
to 23 years and within 5 years time, boom, just miraculous. It's totally miraculous.
Yeah, so dreams still do come true, and
Amen.
we should continue to pursue them no matter what, as long as we
Yeah.
have breath. So, Aretha, we're at the end of our time, but show your book one more time, your book cover, so
And
that
it's
people
sort of
can
between
know.
them.
Oh,
You can get the book on Amazon and Amazon.com. And you can go to my website, arethathomas.com, and all my social media links are there. And the book is on the front page. You just click it on and it'll take you right there. And it's gonna be, I can't reveal what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be a big deal with my book in December. Something's gonna come out big about my book in December.
oh,
So just
wonderful. Well,
if you
congratulations
follow
in
me,
advance.
yeah, follow me on Instagram, and all my links are on alrethathomas.com. And if you follow me, you'll hear that notice when it happens next month.
Okay, and assisted living resumes actually tonight at
Tonight.
9:30 your time, Pacific Standard Time on BET. So you can see Aretha in her role on the new series season
And
of the series.
I'm actually in tonight's episode, and it has to do with me and almost getting canceled. I'm trying to get followers and almost getting canceled. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm in tonight's episode. Yeah, it's a fun episode.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, thanks so much, Aretha, for being a guest on the show and continued success with your writing and
Thank
your
you
acting.
for having me, and continued success for you too. It's been a
Okay.
pleasure.
All right.